Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm, bro.
Welcome back to see. No, look what happened. Welcome back to another episode of Outdoor Elements, a Minimoto Media production. I am Stephen Camardella with Element Society, and I'm here with Miguel and Joseph again. Miguel, you want to give us a little intro?
Yes, I'm Miguel from Element Lifestyle. How you doing, guys, today?
Elements and stuff today.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. That's what we do.
Stuff and elements?
Yeah. Our main topic today is going to be our big trip that we recently had, or you guys definitely had, which is the Pacific Northwest Element Meet trip, which involved a caravan for you guys, lots of different national parks, a long time traveling. So how about we get a really quick recap of how things went, what you guys did, what you guys saw, and we'll go from there, yeah?
Sounds good.
Want to kick us off?
Sure. So, when the meetup was coming up, I just had this idea to kind of do a caravan, right? Because I done it before for the Elements on the Dragon, and it was nice. It was nice to meet other people and hang out with them. So then I just posted in Instagram, and people seems to be part of it. And we were, I will say, like around 13 elements in a point. So I think it was pretty cool to live that experience with people that we don't know, but we share the same hobbies, and also we own elements. So I think that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joseph, we traveled with him before. I already met some of the people there, also Steven. So it just was a nice experience, I think, and I look forward to do it more. Yeah.
Cool.
So how about you, Joseph?
Well, it was pretty epic, to say the least. I really enjoyed the entire caravan, especially, I've already traveled with you multiple times, and I've traveled with Steve and Rebecca multiple times. Amazing. Always have a good time. The best part about the whole thing is I don't have to be in charge of shit. I just got to show up and follow. That's it. That's all I have to do. So I really appreciate that from both of you, since you guys do all your homework and research and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to tag along. That's it. That's all I have to do. But overall, it was such a beautiful experience, especially being able to just wake up every day and know that you were unsure of your schedule, even though we kind of had a general idea of what we wanted to do, but the entire 24-hour or the entire day was just, I don't know, for the most part, spontaneous. Yeah, we had a destination that we needed to get to, but the journey between them, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And the things that we got to see, the different types of animals that were on the road. One that crossed you out of nowhere, you guys, that was a scary one.
Black bear.
Yeah, and then just getting chewed up by these mosquitoes was probably the worst part. Yeah, I think, that was the worst part of the entire trip.
Yeah.
Just getting chewed up by these freaking mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Terrible. But the food, the vibe, the conversations, just everything was, for the most part, a really good experience.
Yeah.
So, it was just the having that many elements though did, have its challenges.
Yeah.
So, we'll get into that right now.
Yeah.
Because it was 13 of us at one point, 8 of us. It was
Yep.
I think we started with, it was
Three people.
three
right?
people.
Yeah,
So
three.
it was you, Steve, and myself, and then from there we traveled north. We met up with Steve and Rebecca and Jason.
And Kevin.
And then Kevin. Yeah. So
And then Oscar too.
Right.
Oscar met up with us.
Oscar.
Once we got to
Shasta.
Shasta,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's when Kevin and Oscar tagged along. But it was pretty challenging.
Yeah.
The more elements we got together, the more challenging the caravan became.
Right.
Obviously, we'll go into those things, but it's just
Yeah, it was a solid trip for sure.
solid trip, and
Yeah.
then not having, I guess, communication systems like we should have from the very beginning. made it fun.
Yeah, we
Interesting.
yeah, we figured it out. But
Yeah.
we ironed it out a little bit
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah, as we went.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was fun.
You guys had a pretty long trip. We started early, so we had a week long, like a 9-day trip, because we started earlier than you, and we kind of like took it slow until we got to Shasta, and we met up with you guys, and we were solo for 3 or 4 days before we saw you guys, and then we did the rest of the leg from Shasta all the way up to Tacoma with you guys, and we camped along the way. And like the group kind of grew as we kept going. So we went to go see Brian spontaneously in San Francisco because he was up there, and we had some hot pot with him before we left. And then we stayed that night, and then we ended up picking up Jason, and then we rolled with Jason from San Francisco all the way to you guys. I think, where did we meet? In Stockton-ish?
It was
I think
past-
it's Shasta, right?
No, it was past Stockton.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because we kind of had a
Oh,
little
like in the
miscommunication.
In-N-Out
Yeah.
kind of?
Yeah.
Right,
We
yeah.
were supposed to meet at the In-N-Out.
Right,
Oh, we met in a Mexican restaurant. I think.
right.
That's
The
where we
Mexican
met.
restaurant, but I don't remember what the town was. It was like kind
little
of,
town.
yeah, it was a little town, a little north of Stockton, but before Shasta. Then we got to Shasta that day, and that was an interesting time.
Mhm.
We found a really nice spot next to the lake
Mhm.
after some looking, and then Kevin met us there. So that was another one. Oscar was there. Oscar met us there, and then we spent the next few days like getting all the way to Tacoma. We did the meet, which went really well. There were a couple nights. There was a night before the meet that we camped, and that was set up by the PNW guys at Dash Point, right? No, we did
Yeah.
Ocean Shores first.
That's right.
We did Ocean
Ocean
Shores,
Shores.
which was really cool, and that was like, I don't know if we got a count of how many cars that was. It was like 35 or
I
something.
think like 40 something cars.
Yeah.
44.
It was
It's always 44.
It was 44. And who was in charge of that? Who was in charge of?
So that was a
Organizing.
PNW Elements group. So that's Rich, Mark, and Dat.
Thank you
And
guys,
Jeff.
by the
And
way.
Jeff.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you guys. We
Thank you to
appreciate
those
that
guys.
so much, 'cause
They set up an awesome meet at Ocean Shores Campground. They were able to like house everybody, and we got to meet everybody a little bit ahead of time, whoever wanted to come out. And then the following day, we did like the beach run at Ocean Shores. So we actually went out onto the beach with all the elements, and we lined them up. And then people got to play in the ocean with their elements until the tide started coming in, and then Joseph started having to yank people out.
Start panicking.
It was
Yeah.
being a superhero. For
no,
me.
no,
Yeah.
superhero.
Yeah.
We were wearing a cape that day.
Where's it at?
An
Actually?
element
Did you
cape.
keep it?
Yeah, he enjoyed himself getting to play off-road recovery. for
Yeah,
sure.
that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Then we got to play with the Suron
Mm-hmm.
up and down the beach. That was pretty fun. And then after that, it was Dash Point
Yes.
before the meet, right? And then we did the meet on Sunday, the 9th, right? Which had a huge turnout,
Mm-hmm.
200 vehicles. That was super busy. Tons
Official number was what? 206.
206. Yeah.
Was it 206? Yeah.
206.
I was
Three.
about to say 306.
Next year. Next year.
Yeah, next
We
year.
make it happen.
That's for next year. Yeah. So huge turnout. That was like double their numbers from the previous year, which was massive. They were super busy all day. They did a great job running the event. So that was super fun. Lots of cool ideas. Lots of cool people to meet.
Mhm.
Lots of cool elements to see, of course. And then we went back to Dash Point after that, right? And that was our last night after that. And then we took off because I had to be back in LA on Wednesday. So we just spent like Monday and Tuesday just driving straight back down from Tacoma to LA. But then you guys kept going
We carried on.
Yeah.
for a long time.
Like another
20 days.
20 days. Yeah.
18, 20 days.
Yeah.
It was fun. And you didn't want it to come back home.
No.
The last day,
No, of course not.
yes, it is like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
the closer we got to the closer we started getting back home, because we did a big U-turn,
Yeah.
and once we started coming back home, I was like trying to convince him, like, oh, we should take these detours.
Yeah.
It's only 4 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, but it was a lot of fun.
I know that feeling for sure. So what was the route? So you guys did we ended in Tacoma. That's the last time we saw you. And then you guys went
Washington.
We went to, so we were in Tacoma, Washington. Then from there we went to Idaho. We passed by Idaho.
Yes, Idaho.
Did you guys do
Montana.
Olympic National Park?
Did we
We
go?
did, yeah.
Yeah.
We
So you
stayed
went-
there for 2 days.
Okay, so you
With
went
Mindy.
west first,
Yeah.
and then you looped back around and you went to Idaho.
Yeah, we took the ferry too. It was fun.
Oh,
that
that's
Yeah,
right.
we took the ferry through. I'm bad with names, man. I don't. Like I said, I just follow
It's like
him.
Port Angeles.
No, it wasn't in Port Angeles.
Okay.
But somewhere where we were.
Okay.
All I remember is it was
You went. It was across the Puget Sound, so like to Seattle, like around.
Yes.
So
Like, we
yeah,
took us to
it dropped
Seattle,
us
you're
off
right.
at
Okay.
Everett, I believe it was called.
Okay.
Everett. So we're on. Yeah, it was fun though. That was a good little experience.
Yeah. And Jason was with you guys, right?
Yes.
Jason
Well,
with
yeah.
us.
His rig was so heavy, the boat was like this. Just kidding.
Hey, he's got all the tech, man.
He does. He does.
So you guys took the ferry, and then after that, you went to Idaho, right?
Yes. We went to
Idaho,
Idaho, Montana,
Montana,
Utah.
Wyoming.
Yeah, Wyoming, you're right.
Wyoming.
So
yeah.
Howe and Glacier, right?
Then
We
we
saw, yeah.
we meet some people along
Right.
our way too. So
Okay.
Yeah.
like the group will grow and then split and grow, and
hmm
Oh yeah.
it was fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool because there was a couple times where I guess people would recognize, some element owners would recognize his car,
Oh really?
and they would like pull over, and we'd pull over, have a
Really?
little chat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where was this?
I think it was going to
Utah.
No, it was.
Yeah. it
Did
was
that happen
fun.
to you in Utah?
It happens to me either twice or 3 times.
I think it was. I remember twice.
Twice, right?
I remember the only one. I don't
One
remember.
where was? Oh, was like going to Glacier, I think.
It was going to.
Yeah,
Glacier.
going to Glacier, and the other one going to Utah because they were coming back from the George, I think it is called.
Oh, that happened to
Yeah.
us. Yeah, when
was
we
it,
were
like going to Utah, right?
going to Ely, Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember it was just him and I on the highway,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden, an element right behind us, out of nowhere, the jalapeno green
Yeah.
with e-camper.
Oh
color
really?
matched.
Whoa.
Ugh.
Okay, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knew. And you know what? It's funny now that you mentioned him. He reminded me a lot about he reminded me a lot. How do you say this?
Reminded me a lot of.
Of you, yeah. He reminded
Oh,
me
really?
a lot of you.
Oh really?
Like the personality traits, and then just like attention to detail, and the way you like doing things. I was like, the hell am I talking to Steve, or who am I talking to right now? Funny. But
I
it
mean,
was,
he had the color matched camper, of course.
Yeah.
He sounds like a guy I'd get along with.
that's exactly what that's one of the things I just said too. I was like, it seems like you two would just get along. Yeah. But no, him and his girlfriend. They were really cool individuals, and I guess they had just came back from, was it the Gorge? I believe
Yeah.
it was called. It was a concert or
like a
something.
concert. And
Yeah,
Oh,
something
cool.
about therapy, going to therapy or something.
Okay.
I think that's what the event was called. But yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they're from San Diego,
I think him, right?
I believe.
then
He
she
was
was
from San Diego.
from-
Yeah.
Forgot where.
Yeah, we could be wrong, obviously.
Yeah.
Conversation was
Hey, if you see this video and we're talking about your color matched Galapagos green element, leave a comment. We'd love to talk to you.
cool. Yeah, and if you haven't set up IG, because I remember him mentioning that, they didn't have IG, neither one of them.
Okay. Yeah.
Hopefully they can follow
Yeah.
us, you know?
There you go.
Hopefully we can meet up in Anaheim one of these days and, you know,
Yeah. That'd be cool.
have the element there, give us another tour.
Nice. So what was the total time that you guys were on the road?
I will say 28, 29 days,
I think
right?
so,
yeah.
I would say 28.
28
And the
days.
cool thing is like every day that like we experience in this trip
Yeah.
is in my channel, so you can basically see what we did.
I know. I've been
The
seeing
whole
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been watching
Yeah.
them and I'm like, man.
You're itching to get back out there,
Yeah.
except for the mosquitoes. Not itching
No,
that way.
except for the mosquitoes. I will be prepared with the torch.
Yeah. There you go.
And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this too is not just to like kind of live the experience again in the future, like watching the videos, but also to inspire other people or other element owners to
Right.
take this trip, make small caravans, from like different parts of the United States and meet in
Mhm.
Tacoma, Washington for the next meetup.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but like in Instagram posts, a lot of people now are getting together like little
Mhm.
mini meetups, kind of like,
Mhm.
and now they are car camping,
Yeah.
and they are posting that in in like in their Instagram. So I think that's pretty cool that the element is taking us there, you
Right.
know, because I think it's the perfect vehicle for doing what are we doing right now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think we're setting the example and showing people what we can do and what you can do by like meeting other people and with elements, because we always kind of seem to get along with other element owners.
Yeah.
They always got the same kind of ideas.
We got common grounds.
Right. Yeah. So that's a good connection, because even like when we went to the campgrounds like Ocean Shores and stuff where there were like a ton of people that we didn't know, it's really easy to get along with them, and everybody's always really excited to show like, oh, this is what I did, and I got this idea from here, but I changed it a little bit, and so I did it this way, and everybody's very excited about that stuff, and so that's just a really easy common ground to even travel together, and because they're all the same vehicle, you're kind of always the capabilities of the vehicle, and you kind of end up in the same places or want to go to the same places. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I have noticed that like there have been more like caravanning, like camping type posts. Definitely across the U.S. there's been more meetups, but even like internationally, like so Japan just did one for the I think it was like the 20th anniversary. They did it for the 20th anniversary of the Element.
That's amazing.
Which is a cool idea. And then there was one. There's a few in like Russia.
I think they got one right.
Right? Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, in Russia.
In Russia, yeah.
Yeah, they got like.
Yeah.
But they've been very active too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been seeing that they've been active. They've been doing some cool trips. Definitely some cool stuff to see out there.
And Puerto Rico or Mexico, one of them had one like a few months ago. I saw it too.
Yeah. Puerto Rico, we've had actually quite a few people recently, within the last like month or something. We've gotten a lot of contacts from Puerto Rico, so I guess they sold them there. I mean, it's a U.S. territory, so I guess they're.
Yeah, they sold it over there.
Yeah, they sold it over
do
there,
have a Facebook Puerto Rico element page.
Yeah.
And in Guatemala too, I think they got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Definitely.
it's popping out, right? Like all these people are just.
Honda's hitting its target demographic like really well right now.
Yeah.
They were only 20 years early. Yeah, but definitely some in Mexico too. I haven't seen like a group meetup, but there's definitely like there's a group that's starting up in Mexico.
Yeah.
I think there's like a Sonoran Elements group. But I haven't seen like a camp out.
Yeah, I think they
post
just
that
had
they've
like a
done.
really small meetup,
Mhm.
like just in a place, but no camp outs or stuff like that. Yeah, that I
Right.
know or I
Right.
didn't see.
Yeah, but that's where it starts. It starts
Yep.
with like getting together and just
Mhm.
like meeting people
Yeah.
and if there's other people around, then you make up. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then you have fun.
And I think like the most that people can get out of like these caravans are that, for example, let's say that somebody is scared of driving their element because they have high mileage. I mean,
Mhm.
some people has a 2003 element with like over 200,000 miles, and they feel like no confidence to go and drive 1,000 miles because they feel like,
Right.
oh, my car is gonna break. So I think like the advantage of caravanning with people, like you have this support from other element owners, like, hey, my car breaks, don't worry, we got you,
Right.
You got some mechanics in
Right.
the group, or like different people that can just help us in different ways.
Right.
So I think also when it comes to like organization, like now after leaving, like the experience is nice, you travel, you get fun, but there is gonna be in this group a few people organizing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think, like you guys learned from this long trip about like the organization, what we could do better to, just have a better or like experience for everybody
Mm-hmm.
in the caravan, in the group?
Yeah, I think like there's definitely some stuff that we learned along the way. There were a couple of hiccups in the caravan going up to the PNW. A couple of people had some mechanical issues. It was pretty rare, fortunately. I mean, it's not too surprising because the Element's pretty reliable if they're taken care of. It actually came because of the ocean shores and the beach, and we all did our washes, right? And there was a little water that got into the VTEX Illinois,
Oh,
our favorite. So as soon as it happened, like all of us kind of knew what it was. Unfortunately, like we were still with the person that it was happening to, and so we diagnosed it pretty quickly. I called you guys just to make sure, like, hey, double check me on this. Like, I'm pretty sure this is what it is. And then, like, I popped off the connector, and I was like, oh, there's water coming in through the connector, and there was the gasket on the back was rotted. So we like ran to the auto parts store. We got some dielectric grease. We blew out the connector. I had to do it a couple times, and then we stopped later because there was like an intermittent starting problem in that car too. And you met us along the way, and then you diagnosed there was the power cable,
the cable
right?
was
That was frayed.
Yeah.
It was a bad connection to the battery, and so that got fixed. And then we were able to get everybody to where they wanted to go. And we also had a recent experience, like we had another little caravan recently for the Santa Cruz meet. And speaking about like the experience stuff, there were a couple people that came with us and they'd never really done anything like that.
Yeah.
And so they were
Like off-roading kind of.
yeah, just being on a dirt road. They said they would have never done it on their own. But being with a group of like-minded people and people that were experienced doing it, like helped them kind of see what they could do, what it was capable of, and how far they could really go. So, and they were really grateful for that, to be able to have that support system. So, those are definitely a couple of things that we learned about. But a lot of it was like communication, right? And communication comes in a lot of different forms. There's very direct communication. There's also like communication in forms of planning. Do you want to, either of you guys want to take that one in terms of communication or planning?
So yeah, with communication, I mean, our PNW trip, we had no walkie-talkies, right?
Right.
And even if we did, it's just dead weight.
Yeah.
Paper weights, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I think having a good set of walkie-talkies where we can all communicate, even if it's not all of us, right? Let's just say, like our last one was, 8 people?
Mm-hmm.
Over the Santa Cruz one.
Santa Cruz was 8, was 7 going up, and then we got there, and then it was 12 when we went, and then we grew to 15 on the way back.
That's
So,
nice.
yeah.
So yeah, like even if we split the group in whatever that number is, right, half.
Yeah.
Have 3 walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
One for the front, one for the guy in the middle that knows where he's going, has the coordinates or whatever, and then the guy in the very back, right? Because not all of us are going to make it to the lights, not all of us are going to make it to the traffic, not all of us are going to. So it's very hard trying to keep up, especially if you're in the back, it's very hard to keep up with the guys in the front. But as long as you have communication front, middle, and back, regardless of what section of that group splits, there's always going to be somebody that's going to have the coordinates and then being able to communicate with the guys in the front, I think we should, obviously look into getting a good set of walkie-talkies that will work together, because we've had really bad luck so far with walkie-talkies.
Well, I think it's also general inexperience with walkie-talkies.
Yeah, it's just... Because I know, like, when I go off-roading, my buddies, they have walkie-talkies, and we can all communicate. Even though it's sometimes only 5 of us on a trail, we don't get too far away from each other, but sometimes it's nice to have that communication system. On the street, on the highway, it's a lot different,
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are the things we can improve on. Just communication, right? And then also, checking mirrors all the time, especially for the guys that are in the front. Like, I know you did a really good job going up to Santa Cruz. Having the experience from motorcycles going on extremely large groups. I'm talking about hundreds of motorcycles. But as long as you know what group you're with, and then you have that communication, always checking on your always checking on your riders, always checking on your friends that you're going with is number one. Because you never know if there's no communication, and then one of us does break down, has a flat tire, runs into an issue, needs to take a quick pee break. Sometimes signal on the phone, especially with my phone, like I had almost no signal this entire trip because of the place that we're going to.
Yeah, especially the places that we go to, like a lot of the times we don't have service.
So if any one of us needs to pull over for whatever reason, communicating that to your friend in front, in the back, whatever, it's very difficult. So I think communication. We gotta figure out like a good communication system. Even like in the group, we have to find who's leading, who's second best at leading, and who's good to just, watch everything from the back.
Right.
And then being able to communicate that way.
And we kind of talked about that earlier. Is like the person in the back also has a very important job because they're the one that like keeps everything closed, right? So like they know nobody got dropped. They know they're the last ones, and they can keep everybody in front. So that's that's another important job. Even though you're at the end, like it's definitely the caboose is the
Yeah.
Yeah.
is
Very
definitely
important, too.
Very, very important.
Very, very important.
And then I think also like making smaller groups. So
Yeah.
like if you get stuck, at least you have 2 or 3 people. If anything happens, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The one thing that we did talk about briefly was like different speeds of driving, and like maybe that's something that the different groups can do too. Is like you can have a group for people that travel faster and people that travel slower. If that's decided upon, like obviously like communicate with the group and say like, hey, we're gonna keep moving, like because we want to get to the campsite earlier. Like you guys, for example, when we did the Santa Cruz meet, like you had a little group that went up to the campsite, and that was helpful to ensure that we got a spot. Like fortunately it wasn't super busy, but like that kind of that's still a style of communication that's helpful, to then it provides a service for the rest of the caravan, even if you're not necessarily traveling together. Ideally, like everybody travels together, but sometimes things happen. When we had the problem on the road with that other person, somehow I don't know why we had gotten split, and so it was nice to at least be able to communicate with you guys that you guys are further ahead, and then you said, oh, we're coming back, or we're going to stop here and wait for you guys. So just being in constant contact, but you can't always rely on your cell phone, right? Because the cell service is pretty bad. And then the other thing that I think we, at least I kind of learned in the last couple of trips that we did, is the planning aspect and having backups. Because like there were a couple times where things didn't exactly work out the way we had planned them to, and having those backups ahead of time like would have eased the stress a little bit, because there were a couple moments where we could have figured things out better. So like the Santa Cruz meet, we had a backup. Fortunately we didn't need it, but then we went up to the Santa Cruz meet, and then there were some plans that could have changed, but we had already kind of committed to going back to the campsite, even though it was far away. Like it was a sure thing, and we're like, we know that campsite's there and it's available, and it was a good site, so we'll just take it. But always having that ability to kind of look at backups and having a backup plan kind of relieves the stress. There's the I don't know if it's a military saying, but there's the saying of 2 is 1 and 1 is none.
Nice. I like the saying.
So it's like having spare parts.
Yeah.
2 is 1 and 1 is none.
I took all the wrong parts.
Yeah.
Unless you don't have the right part.
Yeah.